Now to our Hall of Fame ceremony. Now, in the athletic department, we refer to this as our favorite day of the year. It's really fun for us to get together and celebrate our history and our success. It's one of those rare occasions where it's okay to publicly brag about our teams and our student athletes. And being in New England, you know, Patriots playing today, I know that's not very Belichickian, if that's the word. We're not supposed to do this, but today is the day where it's okay to brag a bit about our student athletes. Before I begin, I would like to thank the people that are responsible for this event, to our Chargers Club for their generous support of this event, to Leslie Ekstrand of Dining Services, to Ruth Clark for their support and the preparation of this day, to our Hall of Fame committee, George Martin, Jen Ellis, who's the president of the Chargers, Ben Steele, our faculty athletic rep, Ryan Emerson, our sports information director, Beth Camp, our alumni rep, and particularly Tracy Austin for making this such a special event. Thank you all very much. And I would be remiss if I didn't have a special shout out to Ryan Emerson for all he does for us. We had a really busy day yesterday, contests at every facility, every field, and long after the cheering stops and the crowds have dispersed, Ryan's banging away on his keyboard to get all of our exploits in the paper the next day. So Ryan, thank you for everything you do. Now, we think all of our student athletes are special at Colby-Sawyer. They commit countless hours to their craft, hours lifting, running, training, rehabbing. They cut summer vacations short to attend a preseason camp, cut holiday breaks short to come to practice. They do this while truly being student athletes. We ask a tremendous amount of them. We ask them to excel in the classroom and in their sport, and they do just that. Now, our student athletes dedicate themselves, they make these sacrifices, they do this willingly because they love being a part of something bigger than themselves. They love being a part of a team. Our student athletes take great pride in representing Colby-Sawyer. Now, our alums in the crowd can take great pride in knowing that Colby-Sawyer has had tremendous success recently. And here's the bragging part. Just this past year, Colby-Sawyer was recognized with an amazing 14 major North Atlantic Conference award winners, including 4 Conference Coaches of the Year, 5 Conference Players of the Year, 4 Conference Rookies of the Year, 1 NCAA NAC Woman of the Year. These athletes won 7 conference titles, sending 3 teams to the NCAAs, 2 individuals to their respective national championships. Many of them are here today. Please join me in giving them a hand. Now, homecoming weekend is really special for our coaching staff. It's very, very gratifying for a coach to see former student athletes in the crowd returning to campus and enjoying success in their personal and professional lives. And while our athletic achievements that I've mentioned are very noteworthy, I'm sure our alums would agree that our athletes learn many other things. They learn how to cope with failure, they learn time management, they learn team dynamics, how to fill a role, the value of hard work and preparation, and these learned life skills give them a head start in their postgraduate careers. And as a coach, we really try to stress interaction with our alums and our current student athletes to really drive that point home. Now, our success in the North Atlantic Conference has not gone unnoticed by other Division III conferences. Again, our alums will be pleased to know that Colby-Sawyer Athletics will be transitioning next year to the Great Northeast Athletic Conference, the GNAC, beginning in fall of 2018. Now, this move will take us closer to our traditional recruiting and alumni basis in all the New England states. And also in the fall of 2018, Colby-Sawyer Athletics will be expanding, offering sport offerings to now 23 teams with the addition of men's volleyball and women's rugby to varsity status. We also continue to grow our facilities as the Kelsey Athletic Campus is now home to a beautiful brand new cross-country trail. Now, we have many special guests here today. Special welcome to our inductees, their family, friends, teammates. Today we honor you as you take your rightful place amongst the all-time greats at Colby-Sawyer. But before we begin our ceremony, I think it's time and important that we reflect back a bit on our history of athletics here at Colby-Sawyer. I'd also like to welcome and recognize some current Hall of Fame members who are present today. And if you refer to your Hall of Fame program, you'll see a list of every individual and team previously inducted into our Hall of Fame. Many are here today. I'd like to ask all current Hall of Famers present today, would you please stand and be recognized? I would encourage everyone to visit our Hall of Fame in the Hogan Sports Center later today and read the plaques of all of our Hall of Famers. So today we come together to celebrate some truly special student athletes. We build on our history as we recognize those individuals for their extraordinary achievements while representing Colby-Sawyer. As our current Hall of Famers have done before you, you in turn have set the bar quite high for future inductees. Perhaps current student athletes in the crowd today will be inspired by what they hear, perhaps be inspired to achieve levels of greatness they didn't believe possible. So now let us turn our attention to the special people on stage with me and begin our induction ceremony. First, George Martin to present Amy Callahan.
Thanks, Bill, and good morning, everybody. Amy, I was trying to figure out what stories I could tell, and some of them, I think, in a mixed crowd, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to continue with too many of those. So I'm trying to figure out if I should tell the story about you kicking a basketball in practice and hitting our freshman point guard in the head, or if I should tell the story about the volleyball match at Springfield after the first point where it seemed like about 9 people attacked the net at once, and before our team could even move, Springfield had their first point, and Amy turned and looked at me and said, "The hell was that, and who do I supposed to block on something like that?" Or a basketball game at Curry where we had to wait 2 hours to play a game because we had a power outage. I've never seen Amy so mad in all my life that we had to play the game. She went out and scored 20 points and grabbed 15 rebounds and said, "Get out of here now, I want to go home." But I decided not to tell any of those stories. I'm just going to talk about you, and I won't mention the volleyball preseason incident either, so that'll be a good thing. Amy Callahan was a 4-year member of the women's volleyball team and also a 4-year member of the women's basketball team. During the time that the volleyball team competed, they compiled a 93-30 record and a 25-3 record in the Commonwealth Coast Conference. They won a conference championship in the fall of 1999 and also won a first-round NCAA game that year. The women's basketball team had an 81-29 record and a 45-5 Commonwealth Coast records. In the winter of 1998, the basketball team also won a conference championship, and that year also won a first-round NCAA tournament game. That's a combined one-loss record of 174-59. You played a lot of games, and you won a lot of games. And Amy was a big reason for all of that success during that time. When Amy committed to Colby-Sawyer, we were fortunate to have such an athletic, strong, powerful, and confident young woman on our campus. For the next 4 years, our women's volleyball team and basketball team played with that same athleticism, strength, power, and confidence which Amy brought to our teams. The hardest part of that, which has now turned into Amy's Hall of Fame career, was getting her to commit to Colby-Sawyer. I first saw Amy play on court 1 of the Hogan Center at an AAU tournament the summer before her junior year in high school. I was standing under the basket talking to her AAU coach, and I asked him, "Do you think you've got anybody on your team that would like to stay in New Hampshire and maybe go to college at Colby-Sawyer?" And just as I asked that question, a girl swooped in for a layup, and when she hit the floor, instead of running to the end of the rebounding line, she turned around, started walking toward me, and said, "I'll come here." And that started the recruiting process of Amy Callahan. So I followed Amy's progress through her junior year and started to reach out to her first with some mailings with some information and letters, and finally in July when we were allowed, I started to make some phone calls. However, sometime between that layup and my first phone call, Amy forgot she told me that she wanted to come to Colby-Sawyer. The phone calls with Amy were sometimes rough at best. I would hear things like, "I'm not going there," or "I'm going to go to UMaine and I'm going to run track," or "I love Endicott, I'm going there," or "I'm pretty sure one time she said, 'Are you ever going to leave me alone?'" And I hung up the phone and said, "No, I'm not." On those nights when Amy wouldn't take my phone calls, there was always someone there that would listen and talk to me, her mother, Anne Marie. So when Amy was yelling in the background, "Mom, you don't have to talk to him," her mom and I would have long, wonderful conversations about Colby-Sawyer and Amy, and what a perfect match that I thought the two would make. I also had her dad, Bill, on my side, who after he brought Amy to campus to meet with admission and financial aids and take a tour, So we had some people in our court fighting for us. So Colby-Sawyer finally became the right place academically and athletically for Amy to attend. Well after the May 1st financial aid deadline, Amy finally committed to Colby-Sawyer. Almost 2 years after seeing Amy play basketball in the Hogan Center, and she walked through that door again to have her first volleyball practice in August of 1998. As she walked through those glass doors, she seemed mad, angry, and had a look on her face that basically said, "I told you I didn't want to come here." And somehow or other, she made it through that first practice. Headed off to lunch with the team, and I headed upstairs saying to myself, there is no way she's coming back for the second practice today. I'm not sure what they had for lunch that day, or what happened when she, or what happened at that lunch. But when she came back and walked through those doors, she was smiling, she was laughing and joking with her teammates. In that short amount of time, Amy felt welcomed, and Amy felt like she was home. She had finally fully committed to Colby-Sawyer. On the volleyball court, over the next 4 years, she dominated at the net on both offense and defense. Her vertical jump and long reach made it next to impossible for teams to have a clean attack against us. And there were more than a few opponents that would run and duck and hide when they saw Amy running across the court to hit a slide. She was always hitting above the block, always hitting straight down, and hitting it as hard as she possibly could. Tipping was never part of Amy's offense. In my 24 years here, there has still never been anyone run a slide better or hit it harder than Amy Callahan. During her career, she had 8 matches with 15 or more kills and had a career high of 21 kills in 1 match. She still ranks 4th in solo blocks with 96, 8th in kills per set with 2.41, 10th in hitting percentage at 225, and 10th in total kills at 851. And while Amy controlled the net for us on the volleyball court, she controlled the entire court for us in basketball. She impacted the game in every statistical category that we kept. Coach Fody always referred to her as a stat sheet stuffer. She always did a little bit of everything, and more times than not, did a lot of a few things. She finished her career with single game highs of 24 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, and 6 steals. After limited playing time her freshman year on the team, she finished her career with 827 points, 441 rebounds, and 248 assists. She also had a triple-double one game, but we won't talk about that because one of the doubles was turnovers. When I reached out to Amy to congratulate her on her selection to the Hall of Fame, she thanked me and then said she didn't think she deserved it. Well, I beg to differ, Amy. As a 3-time member of an all-Commonwealth Conference team and still being ranked in the top 10 of 4 statistical categories in volleyball, your volleyball accomplishments alone make you a member of our Hall of Fame. And guess what? Your 2-time selection as an all-Commonwealth Conference team member and your gaudy basketball statistics also make you a member of our Hall of Fame alone. It's when you put the 2 of those together, it really shows you're not only deserving, but really are a no-brainer selection to the Hall of Fame, and only makes me wonder what took us so long to induct you. So it's with a great deal of pleasure and pride that I introduce Amy Callahan as the newest member of the Colby-Sawyer College Athletics.
Coach Martin for all of his kind words. I swear he could make anyone sound good. In all seriousness though, George has had a huge impact on my life as a student athlete and in my personal success. I could never truly thank him enough. Colby-Sawyer was a defining period of time for me. I can't express how appreciative I am to have attended such a great school, and I owe that to George, so thanks again, George. I want to thank my parents for their never-ending support and for never missing a single game I've ever played in my entire life. Lastly, I want to thank my teammates. This honor, honestly, is dedicated to you, and I'm beyond humble. Without each and every one of you, I wouldn't be standing here today, so thank you so much.
They are arranged to present Candace Corcoran Reigns.
Well, there is no question that the woman that I have the pleasure of giving this award to is a significant part of my life, just like Colby-Sawyer was a significant part of her life. It stole a piece of her heart. She's been a member of the United States ski orienteering team. She's been through 7 world championships. She also has been on the United States archery biathlon team and the United States target archery team as well. But I want to tell you some things about her that you won't see on the plaque. Her record for giving of her time to help others is truly amazing. Here's just a short list. In addition to being a professor online and in the classroom at 5 different institutions of higher learning in sport and recreation management, she's the co-owner and business manager and chef of Boys Camp for Roaring Brook for boys for 33 years. She volunteers her time in the National Ski Patrol for both Nordic and Alpine patrols. She was awarded the National Outstanding Nordic Patroller Award. She's teaching mountain travel and rescue work in avalanche and outdoor emergency care. She's a member of 3 National Outstanding Patrols, including the 1980 Winter Olympic Ski Patrol. And she's a member of the Community Emergency Response Team, which is CERT, in Vermont. She's a professional ski instructor of the American Nordic Gold Medallion level, and she is also an American Canoe Association instructor. She's American Red Cross, WSI, lifeguarding, first aid, CPR, and shelter manager. She's a National Archery Instructor Level 3 coach. She's an American Council of the Blind Ski for Light instructor. She's a National Handicapped Recreational Sport Ski instructor as well. Add that to being an emergency medical technician. She's a recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Vermont Camp Association. She is a Yellow Merit Star from the NSP, National Ski Patrol, for a rescue that led to the receiving of the Ohio State Senate Resolution for Heroism. She also received an Olympic medal for contributions towards saving a life in the Olympic Games, where she was patrolling at the time. She currently serves as Lieutenant Colonel and Training Officer and Medical Specialist in the 2nd Battalion of the Vermont State Guard. So she has a lot of firsts in her life, if I can keep it together. She was one of the first women to serve for the Appalachian Mountain Club as a member of the hut crew, hut master, and bridge runner. She was one of the first women to serve on an ambulance service in the state of New Hampshire. She was one of the first women to hold the position of backcountry ranger for the U.S. Forest Service, and the first and only woman to steal my heart. So, Candace Lynn Corbett Raines, and for that I will always be grateful. I am proud of her, and especially proud to congratulate her on her induction into the Colby-Sawyer Athletic Hall of Fame. Special heartfelt thanks to all of those who are here today who made this possible.
Stubner, Athletic Director Fody, the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, Alumni Relations Director Austin, Colby students, Colby faculty, my fellow inductees, and honored guests. I stand before you with a grateful heart for the honor that you've bestowed on me. To my nominator and my teammate, Val Turtle, thank you for your support. I'm so delighted that you're here today. Over many decades, it's been my husband, Thayer, and his support that has been most important in my ability to continue my athletic career. In addition to his emotional and financial support, he's taken over 2 weeks of my university classes 11 times while I participated in World Championship event. He also still takes over my duty at our boys' summer camp for a week every summer. And a week is a very long time at summer camp. So I can go to the U.S. Nationals in target archery. But the best times are when we can play our favorite sports together. My definition of sports changed when I entered Colby-Sawyer College. I arrived as and get this, students, the traditional multi-sport athlete that was common in my era. For every season, there was one sport, maybe two. But the opportunities offered to students at Colby expanded my view of what sport is and how it can be practiced. Climbing Mount Kearsarge, having alpine ski lessons, and participation on the first Nordic ski team allowed me to explore new avenues for enjoying sports over a lifetime. It was our president, Dr. Woodman, who influenced my life the most during my time here. I believed he sensed that the role of women in the United States was about to change dramatically in the decades to come. He encouraged us to think outside traditional women's roles of the time, and also to think differently about what future careers that we might have. He was always asking us to step outside our comfort zone and accept new challenges. My family has often joked that I majored in extracurricular activities instead of academics at Colby. I did not know at the time that my experiences here would set me on a path where the discoveries of my love for the outdoors, outdoor sports, and challenging myself to seek new adventures would lead to an actual career as a professor of recreation and adventure education, or allow me to continue my career as a lifelong athlete. For that, I will always be grateful to Colby-Sawyer College. And for students, especially those who are participating in team sports, where when the last senior game is played, you may wonder, what will come next? One of the things I've realized is the nature of sport is endless, and its definition is not finite. Go out and find another sport. You can be a working athlete all of your life, well, at least up till 66. We'll see. We'll see how much farther that I make it. Thank you all for your part in honoring me today, and I will continue to strive to live up to this award.
Jill Firstbrook to present Kirsten Gerard Sirocco.
Good morning, everybody. I first just wanted to congratulate all the Hall of Fame inductees. Very exciting, and then I wanted to thank Kirsten Gerard, my first athlete, for asking me to be her inductee to the 2017 Colby-Sawyer Hall of Fame. Kirsten Gerard, and I'm going with Gerard because that's who she is, was in my first class as a coach. So she was my first graduating class, my first tennis team class. And so it was very exciting. We came in new to the to Colby-Sawyer and the athletics. When I think of Kirsten, the words that come to my mind are passion, determination, grit, hard work, dedication, team, and never give up attitude. Kirsten played 4 years, 3 years at #1 singles and doubles, and 3 years as a captain. She was also head of the student body, and I don't have numbers, but what I can tell you is there was never a match where she didn't fight from the beginning to the end. And it was always so inspirational to watch her. Kirsten represented Colby-Sawyer as an athlete and a student to the highest level. In every way, we're proud of her to be part of the alumni here. She never hesitated. She pushed forward in everything she did. And she loved our team. She loved to compete. She still loves to compete. I mean, you ask her. And she loved her doubles partner, Bridget Hester. I am so proud to know that Kirsten is a former athlete, student, and now accomplished professional wife and mother. Thank you to her family for all their support over the years, and all of them. Could you just stand up for a minute just so they can see how many we have here? So always at the tennis matches, there was always a presence, and whether we were away or home, and just, you know, very supportive of everything Kirsten did. And I can't emphasize how big a piece that is. So again, I just want to congratulate Kirsten on her induction into the 2017 Colby-Sawyer Hall of Fame, and thank you for making Colby-Sawyer proud.
I did not prepare a speech because that is not something that would be heartfelt for me to do. I want to give you a little background as to what I do, and I'll keep it to the 30-second elevator speech. My job right now is titled Curriculum and Instruction Coordinator at the largest high school in New Hampshire. I oversee 300 faculty. I work and train with them as their coach. Let me get into that in a second. My training for this position in my dream job stems directly from my coach. My coach was someone who was my life coach. It wasn't about tennis. Tennis was the vehicle that got me to that space. My time spent in Burpee basement and Abbey basement at Windy Hill, when our lab school, not this beautiful spectator thing that we have across the way now. It's amazing to me that we look at knowledge as being so important, but I will tell you that it's knowledge and skill that is the most important. Our true understanding of who we are, where our dreams need to take us, and how we implement those in our lives comes from the skill. Our perseverance, our dedication to what we love, our hopes and dreams come from our mentors who teach us that skill. And I've had many people in my life who have taught me that. My parents, my children. Oh, raising teenagers is a lot of fun. My newborn, I just had a baby 15 months ago, has probably taught me more about being a mom than ever. My spouse, husband, and best friend, and my friends from here. It's all about our skills that we bring forth. Coaching each other, mentoring each other, loving each other, encouraging each other, and staying in kindness and truth is what really matters. So I'm blessed that Jill is still in my life. I'm blessed that my family and my friends are still in my life because they teach me every day. So thank you, Colby-Sawyer. You've been a gift to me, and I hope one day I can return those gifts multitude. Thank you.
Not bad for not preparing. And now, Dimitri Demarcus to present Matt Salazzo.
I was going to take a chance here and roast Matt for the full 5 minutes, but it would probably be taking all day if we kept going. So I'm just going to take about a minute to give all his good qualities. That's all he's got. No, but honestly, Matt, thank you very much for choosing me to represent you and being inducted in the Colby-Sawyer Hall of Fame. For those of you that don't know, I played center midfield with Matt behind him for several years. I had the best seat in the house. After a while, the team just expected Matt to score goals. It was just one of those things that we were always like, all right, we should get 1 or 2 out of him today. But there was a day where Matt scored 4 goals, and actually were all 4 of the goals for the team. We had a big win down in Salem State, so, Matt, thank you very much. He always came through when he needed it. And in crunch times, I'd have to say, he always came through in the tight times. I'd have to say though, if you scored on half the chances that I gave you, you'd still be number 1. So, without further ado, Matt scored 97 points in his Colby-Sawyer career, 41 goals. He's 7th in assists with 15. And he's tied for the 2nd most points in a season. So, Matt. Oh, I almost forgot. Today is Matthew's birthday, too. If we could just say happy birthday to Matt, that would be great. So, let's kick it off. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matt. Happy birthday to you.
How's it going today? Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Appreciate that. I didn't prepare anything either, but I just wanted to say this wouldn't have been possible without a lot of help from everybody. And it really takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to get here. My parents for putting in the long hours, practice, driving me back and forth to games. My family for always being there. My teammates, Marcus, for always giving me the assist. And probably one of the most important things, my biggest fan is my younger sister. She was always there for me. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Michael Wilder to present Brian Wilder.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Wilder, and I'm here today to introduce my brother Brian Wilder, class of 1999, as he's inducted into this incredible Hall of Fame at Colby-Sawyer. I know I only have roughly 5 minutes to speak about my unequivocal best friend in the world. I'll do my best. I assure you that I will not exceed the time limit too bad, and hopefully entertain you along the way. First, thanks to my brother for the incredible honor of speaking on his behalf. I know how much Brian loved his basketball teammates, probably so much so that he couldn't pick just one to speak on his behalf. I'm happy to fill this role, and Brian, it means the world to me. Second, thanks to Colby-Sawyer Hall of Fame for recognizing Brian's accomplishments. He loved his time on this campus. While speaking about Brian's statistics are certainly impressive, and I will mention them on a high level, it's certainly not what defines Brian as a person. Numbers are important measuring sticks in athletics, but generally, there is more to the story. Those statistics in no particular order, Brian was the 5th all-time leading scorer in school history with 1,608 points. Most impressive in my mind, and a record that's going to take a monumental effort to eclipse with the way that today's game is played, is his 18 field goals in one single game against Norwich, where he poured in 45 points during that game, the second highest single game point total in school history. Equally as impressive, the fact that he had 3 other single game efforts where he put in 17 field goals in each of those games, resulting in the ownership of 4 of the top 10 single game scoring performances in school history. Most impressive in my brother's mind, I can assure you, his team's 83-26 win-loss record during his 4 seasons at Colby-Sawyer, as well as the team's ECAC championship season. These are all incredible accomplishments I've listed, and really only a partial list. Certainly a big part of the reason why he's being inducted today. However, Brian's personal side is the story I'm so honored to share, particularly with his 3 children, Shay, JJ, and Carly, plus my 2 children, Brendan and Abby, who are all in attendance today. They should hear this message. In a day and age where youth sports has a successful college player pegged in 5th grade, Brian was anything but that. In fact, I'm not certain, but it's possible the term "he couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time" was invented in 1988 when he was in 5th grade. Brian earned every ounce of his athletic accomplishments by outworking the competition. He had something burning within him that was genuine, and he plugged along to improve as a young athlete. I know I had a front row seat along the way. And besides my mother, Sharon, and my father, Fred, who I know can now smile for all those long rides from Waltham to Colby-Sawyer, I was his biggest fan. Truly, though, it wasn't until his sophomore season in high school where I had the pleasure of being his teammate where Brian Wilder was born as an athlete. I recall I was running down the right side of the floor in our annual holiday tournament. Brian was filling the left side lane. Our point guard threw him the ball. He drives head down into 6'7" Paul Krasinski of Newton South. For that split second, I thought, what the heck is he doing? In true Brian fashion, he tosses up some crazy looking shot off the glass into the basket, whistle blows, Brian's on the ground, referee is motioning for a blocking foul on the defender, and the next thing I know, Brian pops up like a pogo stick and lets out the biggest scream I had heard in that gym in a long time. That was the day Brian was born. I'm sure his teammates at Colby-Sawyer and Coach Fody have no problem understanding that visual. They all got to witness it for the next 4 years as he brought this tenacity to Colby-Sawyer. In my opinion, Brian was the emotional leader. He was the bulldog, the dirty worker for the Chargers during his impressive run as a college basketball player. It was all grit and grind. One more story before I turn things over to Brian. My senior season at Clark University, we were scheduled to play Colby-Sawyer in a scrimmage up in New London. And Brian was ready to turn that sophomore season into something magical, just like in high school. He was about to have another defining moment as an athlete while I was on the court for the first time as an opponent. I won't go into the details of the scrimmage, but I will tell you all that you need to know. I'm sitting in the locker room after the scrimmage, and my teammate, Neil Scott, quietest kid on our team, comes over to his senior captain, puts his arm around me and says, "Wilder, I hate to say it, but I talked to the guys. We want to trade you." true story. In closing, I had a recent moment to chat with Coach Fody as we ran into each other at a college showcase. We talked for several minutes on the makeup of Brian's teammates while at Colby-Sawyer, a group of players I know Coach Fody treasures. As I reflected on our conversation while driving home that night, and I thought of this day, I realized what mattered most to my brother during and after his time at Colby-Sawyer. It is, without question, his teammates. Marty, PQ, Lexi, Furlow, George, Camper, Jimmy, T. Doze, and his boy Matty Follis. You guys are what matters most to my brother. To this day, I'm convinced that Brian isn't living his life as a successful financial advisor at Morgan Stanley, adoring his wife Jill, and supporting his 3 kids, Shay, JJ, and Carly, without the way all of you and Colby-Sawyer influenced his life. My message is simple. There is no replacement for hard work and surrounding yourself with the right people. Brian, you crushed it in both of those areas. Little brother, you're my idol on the basketball court and in the game of life. Please welcome my brother, Brian Wilder, to the Colby-Sawyer.
I did prepare a few things to say, just to kind of stay on point. And as I thought about this moment, and now just listening to my brother present, you feel a lot of emotions, I can tell you. Thinking of my teammates, my experience. I think back at the amazing 4 years that I had at Colby-Sawyer, not just as an athlete, but as a student. The experience was something that I hope, all collegiate athletes get to enjoy. I am, truly blessed for my time that I spent here. Then also just thinking back of over the years of my playing career, all the coaches, administrators, players, friends that have impacted my life, it can be really overwhelming when you think back at that experience, and I'm forever grateful. Some of those players I'll mention and coaches today. With that said, I'd like to start by thanking the Hall of Fame committee for not only my selection, but also the outstanding event they put on this morning. I was grateful that I was here 2 years ago as my team got inducted in, and it's just an amazing event that they put on. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees this year and years past. It's a great accomplishment, and all those folks should definitely feel proud. I know that I am. As I gave my thoughts in terms of my speech today, I could go in many different directions, but I just wanted to try to keep myself focused and touch upon my family, my coaches, my teammate, and my journey. To my parents, mom and dad, today, they're here. Thanks for all the support during my playing years. Your countless hours of driving to all the games, practices, did not go unnoticed. As a parent of 3, I know how much you sacrificed and how much work that can be. Quick fact, my parents missed only 2 games in my college career, which were down in Florida during my sophomore year. So they went to every other game, away or home, and throughout my whole 4 years of playing, which is just a remarkable support. A special thanks to my mom and dad. A special thanks to my dad, who introduced me to the game of basketball. I'm not sure I had a choice with how much you and Michael love the game, but I could go on and on. However, I just want to say thank you for being my biggest supporters from the very beginning. To my brother, you got to hear from him today. Much better speaker than me. We have a very special relationship. He is and still is my mentor, my coach in all things in life. We spent countless hours in the gym, on the court. He, more than anyone, knows the work and sacrifices that I made to maximize my ability on the court. Growing up, he was someone I looked up to on the court and in life. Not only is he my brother, he's my best friend. Thank you for inspiring me, Michael. Even though I became a better basketball player than you, I still look up to you. Thanks for your help in my development and being my biggest fan. I love you, bro. To some of my other family members here today, Hugh, Becca, Heather, Brendan, Dylan, and Abby, it means so much that you get to share this special day with me. To my lovely wife, Jill, and the kids, Shay, Carly, JJ. See all those war stories that I've told you guys about me dominating the hoop courts at Colby-Sawyer College. This is proof. On a more serious note, I am so glad that you get to share this with me. You've given me an amazing life, and I hope one day that I'll be in the Hall of Fame for fathers and husbands. I love you guys. Now the comedy part of the speech. My coaches, specifically Coach Fody. But, you know, who could forget Coach Gibson, who actually recruited me to come up to here, and student Coach Pinkowski for adopting me as a young freshman and providing me entertainment on and off the court. And then I never met anyone that loved John Stark so much in my life. Coach Brayshaw, who always was getting a few jump shots up in his leather coat prior to practice. He also provided many laughs on road trips, especially in Florida. Lastly, Coach Fody. First, before I get into some of the great stories, I just want to say how lucky the college is to have him. He's an amazing coach who cares about his players and teaches them not only about the game, but also about life, how hard work gets you places. I'll talk briefly about a few highlights of my experience with Coach. Coach and I started off with a few different opinions of my ability. As a freshman, I remember sitting in a conference room with him, and he told me that we have a lot of guys here, so there's no guarantee that I would dress every game. I'm looking at him thinking in my head, this guy has Hall of Fame talent sitting right in front of him. He doesn't. And then the next story never gets old. So we're in Florida for a tournament sophomore year. We lose the game. Coach is not happy, to say the least. He's in the middle of a controlled after-game speech. And he just looks at me and yells, "And you, sunburn." I'm thinking in my head, Coach, we just had a practice and walkthrough on the beach, and I'm a pale Irish kid. What did you expect? And then the other one, you know, during practice, when he called me over during the middle of my career and said, "Wilder, you're not that good unless you try hard. Thanks for the words of encouragement." He was right. In all seriousness, Coach was an amazing coach. He taught me about hard work, discipline, being a good teammate, and how not to only win on the court, but win in life. He even designed a whole offensive playbook that ended with me posting up as option 1 or 2, so I can't thank him enough for that. The one story moment that I remember most about Coach, though, was after my last game of my career. I was sitting in the locker room, visibly upset, after we just lost to Williams in the ECA season. I was never afraid to show my emotion, as my teammates can contest to. And he came up to me and he put his arm around me and said, "You have nothing to be upset about. You've had an amazing career, and it was a huge part of putting Colby-Sawyer College on the map in Division III basketball." Coach, I could go on and on. However, I just want to say thank you. You taught me more than you'll ever will realize. To my teammates, several that were here, just what a remarkable group. My brother touched upon the special relationship that I had with them. I think if I could pick the best thing that happened to me in college, it was in my playing career. It was to walk away from school with lifelong friends that I got from the time here at the school. I got a chance to play with a lot of special people during my 4 years. However, no one tops the class of 98 and 99. These two classes took over the team my sophomore year. We had a group of us, Matt George, Nate Camp, Marty Burnett, Pat Quinn, Mark Furlow, Lexi Babolia, Sean Batchelder, Terrell Dozier, the newcomer. It was just a special group. I remember talking with Matt George and telling him, this is our team. We need to set the image of how we're going to work and commit ourselves to making this team great. The end result was we basically played without a senior class that year. However, that was the stepping stone that made us create a championship attitude and atmosphere. Our 1998 team, which got inducted 2 years ago, in that moment was when this group decided that we were, as underclassmen, we were taking over this and we were going to start something more special than winning the championship. As a group, we've become lifelong friends and make it a point to consistently stay in touch, in person, email, comical text messages. If you ask them what other Hall of Fame I should be in, they'll tell you that if there was a Hall of Fame for warm-ups, you'd be the first ballot. See, I had great warm-up music selection. I enjoyed my teammates chest bumping me underneath our opponent's warm-up hoop. I was known to yell once in a while during power layup drills. Those are just a few highlights. I'll leave out my pregame speeches as my kids are present. But my teammates that are here, you know, I can't thank you enough, and you can fill them in the crowd in some of my great pep talks in their racquetball court prior to games. In all seriousness, basketball is a team sport. I do not have the success in my career without my teammates. You need a group effort to be successful in basketball, and we did that over my career. Coach will tell you that I scored over 1,600 points in my career, and at least 1,000 of those were probably from 5 feet in. Lots of layups. Means someone has to pass me the ball, set the screens, and put me in the right spot. So I can't thank my teammates for that enough. Also, bigger thanks to the ones that are here today, that are my lifelong friends and are brothers to me. Very blessed in their family to this day and always will be. Lastly, I just want to touch upon my journey briefly. You heard a little bit from my brother. I don't really like to talk too much about myself, which I know surprises my teammates a little bit. My sister-in-law was telling them how humble of a person I am, and they were like, "You sure we're talking about the same person?" But it is true. I guess as I've grown older, I've become a little bit more humble. But the message to the student athletes in attendance today, my kids, my nephew, my niece here, I believe that my experience could be a good lesson in life. Throughout my playing career, there was always obstacles that I face. Life is the same way. It's the attitude you take and the actions that you take that are most important. I came to Colby-Sawyer, showed up for my first practice pickup game with my teammates and was like, wow, there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of kids that look and play like me, some better. Everyone was a high school star, so I spent my freshman year not playing much at all. However, I showed up every day at practice and worked for my teammates as hard as I could. I wanted to give maximum effort as I felt that that would help them get better and be more prepared for the upcoming game. Then after that season, I said to myself, I'm going to go work as hard as I can to maximize my college playing career. I was playing at the right level, and I knew if I could contribute and outwork everyone else, that the next 3 years, I spent more time than anyone on the court, in the gym, meaning weight room, and on the pavement. I was rewarded for this work by starting for the next 3 years and having an amazing career. I was also rewarded for this work psychologically and just being mentally stronger. I knew when coach sometimes played me 35, 40 minutes in a game, I was as fresh at the end of the game as I was at the beginning. I would let the guy know that covered me that as well. I would tell him, I'm going to be sprinting just as fast down this court at minute 38 as I am at minute 1, so you better be ready. Sports in life is very psychological. I was a very confident player as my teammates would tell you. However, that confidence stemmed from the preparation that I put in during the off-season in practice. I tell that story because those lessons I learned at this college, I also took with me in the classroom. It paid off there as well, being an honorable mention academic All-American. Those lessons helped me tremendously in life. I've worked over 18 years now in the investment world, I currently run a large wealth management practice acting as a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley in Boston. And I took the investment knowledge that I got at this school as a business minor and knew that's what I wanted to do. I received my certificate in financial planning at BU, passed my CFP exam many years ago. I studied and worked hard to be very knowledgeable in all areas of my career: investment planning, financial planning, estate tax planning. But it's the work ethic that I learned from being on the court and at this college that I've always taken with me. I'm a very loyal person. My clients trust me, and they know that I work hard for them. More importantly, those lessons that my family, my coaches, my teammates taught me about loyalty, trust, and having the right attitude, showing a genuine interest and caring, have helped me in my professional career. So I end with this: find your passion in life. Mine is my family, my work, and basketball. Side note, I still do play hoop, and I still run and I actually coach and run Waltham's youth basketball program, and coach a 6th grade AAU team, which unfortunately I actually coach Brad, Steven, and Jay Laranaga's son. Brad is the head coach of the Celtics, and Jay's the assistant coach, and they asked their kids to be on my team, which is an outstanding, obviously, recommendation from them. Take that passion and work as hard as you can to be the best that you can at it. Don't let setbacks negatively impact you. Learn from those setbacks and use them to make you stronger. Don't worry about things you can't control. Just do your job, and if you do it well, things will work out. Live life to the fullest. Students, enjoy every moment of your time here. Have no regrets. It does go by fast. Thanks to everyone, and congrats again to all my fellow inductees.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the class of 2017 Colby-Sawyer Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you all. We're very proud of you all, and we're grateful that you'll continue to represent Colby-Sawyer. And as a reminder, all of you will be permanently memorialized with a Hall of Fame plaque in the lobby of the Hogan Sports Center. Now, with closing remarks, please join me in welcoming in her second Colby-Sawyer Athletic Hall of Fame address, Sue Stubner, President of Colby-Sawyer.
Well, it's certainly an honor to be with you all here today and celebrate the special accomplishments of this year's Colby-Sawyer Hall of Fame recipients. This event has always been a favorite of mine, and today was certainly no different. It has truly been an honor to hear your personal stories today of how your time as Chargers impacted your life. This event marks the close of a very busy week of homecoming, trustee meetings, a grand opening of the Center for Art and Design, and an admissions open house. And I would like to just take a moment to thank the many members of our on-campus team who've been working tirelessly to deliver these programs to you. Please join me in thanking our friends in alumni relations, development, campus events, Parkhurst Dining Services, media services, and facilities. Thank you all so very much for your Thank you also to Bill Foley and George Martin for your leadership of the athletics program and for this great event today. What a joy to see so many of our teams have such success athletically and to know how much a positive impact our student athletes have across this entire campus. I'd also like to extend my thanks to the Chargers Club for your support of the Athletic Hall of Fame and Chargers Athletics. The Chargers Club includes a wonderful group of volunteers who share their time and talents with the support of providing the best athletic experience possible for our student athletes. So thank you so much to the Chargers Club as well. And finally, thank you to the newest members of our Hall of Fame. Today's inductees reflect the breadth and strength that student athletes bring to Colby-Sawyer, both in their time as students and beyond. I assure you that you have enriched the life of this institution through your dedication, your commitment to excellence, your pride and responsibility in representing Colby-Sawyer, and your leadership in giving back in such tremendous ways. Amy, Candace, Kirsten, Matthew, and Brian. Thank you for being such exemplary examples of athletic and personal excellence. Your achievements here as student athletes and as leaders in your respective professions inspire us. You are role models to our current student athletes, and you have set the bar for excellence for future generations to strive to achieve. One of the greatest joys of president of this institution is being the chief storyteller of the incredible stories of the people who make this place what it is. And a few people have asked me this weekend, what can we do to help Colby-Sawyer? And while financial support is always helpful, please do not underestimate the power of telling your Colby-Sawyer stories to others. Wear your Charger gear with pride. Proudly display Colby-Sawyer in your professional conversations. Recommend a prospective student to us. And talk about the positive experiences you had in the classroom and in your sport. Share your stories with others, and remember to share your updates with us as well. The relationships built here among the amazing people of Colby-Sawyer is truly one of our most profound strengths. Homecoming weekend and this event, it illustrates how meaningful those relationships are and how they endure over years to come. To our Hall of Fame inductees today and other current members present, we thank you for letting us share your stories through the display that will be permanently available in Hogan Sports Center. My congratulations and sincere thanks to all of you. Go Chargers.
Thank you, Sue. That concludes our ceremony. We're going to have some photos taken in the lobby of the Hogan Sports Center with our class of Hall of Famers. People are welcome to mingle over there and join us as well. Thank you for coming. Drive safely.